Hey guys, Rex here. We're going to take a quick look at this Primary Arms 30mm PLx Cantilever mount. This is a 1.5 inch high mount measuring from the center line of the Optic. This thing is one of their Platinum series. The PLx series is their Platinum series. It's kind of their top of the line. I've seen a lot of their more affordable mounts. This one is priced in that $250 price range. So why would it cost so much more? What's the difference between this kind of mount and something that's less expensive, okay? Really, if you look at the specs is where you're gonna tell. A lot of guys look at these things stylistically. This thing does have really nice lines and stuff like that stylistically, but it's really in the specifications where you're gonna see where that money went and why it costs a little bit more. So being part of the PLX line, that's the Platinum line, these are made with pretty decent amount of precision out of some pretty good materials. So these are, first off, they're 100% US made. They are made from 70-75 aluminum, and they feature 12.9 steel hardware with their Electroless Nickel coating, which makes them pretty rugged. So a 12.9 steel hardware, I'm not sure if guys are familiar with metric grading of bolts, but that's pretty good stuff. It's a steel alloy. It's quenched in tempered steel. Basically, you're going to see proof load of around 970 megapascals. Okay, that's 970 million pascals. Minimum yield strength is going to be around 1100 megapascals, and the minimum tensile strength is going to be about 1200, maybe a little more than that megapascals, depending on what specs you're looking at. But that's like a really decent quality hardware. You're not going to strip that out anytime soon. And the design is actually a 3 cross bolt system. So you have 3 cross bolts, 3 different screws that mount it down to the Picatinny, and it has 2 recoil lugs. So in total you have 5 different lugs to evenly distribute that recoil into the mount. And with the 3 bolt design, it's very evenly clamping down on the Picatinny. And you can evenly distribute about 6,500 pounds of clamping force. That's way too much, but you could. So the specs are really strong. You're not going to get out in the field and break the mount. You're not going to get out there and strip one of the screw is not going to get stripped very easily. Of course, anything you can damage if you're trying to, but very, very, very good components, very, very nicely made. So again, this thing has the dual machined recoil lugs on the bottom, as well as 3 cross bolt lugs that clamp it down. So this resists pretty good impacts, and you could shoot this thing a lot, all day long, and it's going to minimize any potential of having a shifting zero. And it's also, being 5.9 ounces, not stupid heavy. It's relatively portable, right? Which is a big deal. And so anything with a 1913 Picatinny rail, any 30mm scope, perfect height for like an AR type platform. The finish is nice. It's a Hardcoat anodized type finish. If you look closely at it, you can see it does have a truss design. If you look at the rail that runs parallel with where the actual Picatinny clamp mount is, you can see it's kind of an I-beam type shape. That's a very, very rigid design, not only with the materials, but also the engineering behind it. Likewise, with where the rings are raised up there, you can see kind of a modified truss design going up into that. This does take 2 different size of Torx head screws. To get the scope mounted, you need a larger Torx head screw for the actual mount where it attaches to the Picatinny, and to get the ring caps on, that's a smaller Torx head bit. So it's going to require 2 different tools to get that on there. So take that into account as well. It's nicely labeled on the mount itself exactly what you have. It tells you the height. It's 1.5 inch height. It tells you the ring diameter, so you don't have to measure it. And it tells you that the cant of the mount, the one that I have, is a 0 minute of angle cant. And it does give you the MPN, your parts number. If you ever get confused on exactly what you're looking at, you want to look up the specs. It's very clearly labeled right there on the side. It's the 910084, which is nice. I like having things clearly identified. If they're not, I'll usually write it somewhere on there if it's an important detail. It's a nice, thoughtful thing for them to include on the mount itself. The dimensions on this mount are very, very appropriate for mounting most of your low power variable optics or even your high powered optics on AR type rifles to get proper eye relief with enough wiggle room in there to get whatever adjustments you need for most applications. This thing worked out good for a few different optics that I played around on. Right now I have the Platinum Compact 1:8 on there, and that's going to be a pretty handsome couple, I think. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on the tabletop. We'll discuss it a little bit more. Hey guys, Rex here. We're going to take a look at some scope mounts today. We're going to be mounting up this new PLx Platinum Compact. Okay, this is the Compact 1:8 by 24 first focal plane. Very lightweight scope, but we're going to get that mounted. I'll show you what I got going on first. I have this rifle for a little while. Been using it for different reviews. I was gonna leave it in the black. Maybe I will for a while, I don't know. Most of my stuff is spray painted. It's a SIG M400, okay? It comes with fancy controls. Got that, you got a pretty nice target type trigger in here. You got this deal, right? Ambidextrous controls. So you can drop your mag here. You got an extended bolt catch here, okay? This side's kind of, you got ambidextrous over here as well. Enlarged trigger guard. I put these on here just recently. We're gonna put a 36 yard zero on here for 77 grainers. These are nice sights actually. They work good, okay? Troy Industries. I think I've reviewed them a couple years ago on other stuff, and they're just nice stuff. I got the Surefire on here. This is the, I think the dual fuel Scout M640 or something. It's got the fancy rechargeable battery. So I'll show you. Show you that. There's that, okay. There's this deal. So if you look carefully, comes with a little charger, a very short length of cord, and you can hook it on this side here, and then the USB to the other side, so you can recharge that in your car, or a little solar unit, or in a wall charger, whatever, right? Very cool. So I usually keep the cord on the rifle. I just got it in the grip here, a little grip compartment. This is all SIG stuff here, SIG furniture. It's got a pistol grip that's like not bad. It's not radically crazy. It's got kind of slim forend, light contour barrel, adjustable gas, whatever, okay? 1-in-8 twist stainless steel. This is their muzzle device here. It's not that bad. It's not like real loud. Kind of a flash hider, okay? 3-prong kind of design. It did come with this as well. I normally don't put like grips and stuff on my carbines, but this one is cool. It came, I just left it on there. Got the BCM quick detach deal. I mounted it here so that this can be pretty far forward to where it's not, you don't have to reach past the sight. I can get over the top of it like this pretty easily. Or if I go offhand, right, very easy here. And it's not impeding my carrying of the rifle when I got the sling, right? So I got this deal here. This is mounted so I can still grab this, and I can, when I get into it, I can still grab it here and then get down into it and get pretty solid like so, okay? So there's 3 things you should put on your rifle first. Get any kind of carbine, I don't care what kind. If it's a go-to rifle, you need to have a sling. That's not an option, really. For years, I ran without slings on my car rifles because bailing out of cars real quick and then getting back in, doing a lot of stuff like that. They're the kind of snag, right? But there's more than just that in life. So if you weigh out the entire equation, the advantage of having a sling, especially when you got precious cargo, you might have to run off with. You need 2 arms to do that. And if you just want to throw your rifle on the ground, well, that's fine. You know, a sling, the coolest thing about the sling, well, why do I need a sling, Rex? Then you have 2 arms and 2 hands all of a sudden. Weird. And a rifle still. Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, with precious cargo like a little one or even mama, I can use my arms. I can throw this and, you know, move around still and still have this rifle. As a loner, bailing out of cars, just doing stuff that I was doing before, didn't seem like that big of a deal. But that might have been my own little paradigm at that time. See, this is a VTAC sling. Okay, I think this is their, oh, what is it? What's this one? VTAC Tactic or Viking Tactics VTAC Mark 1 or VTAC, well, it doesn't say which one it is. I don't know what the hell it is then. It's a VTAC, okay? Yeah, that's good stuff. So we need to find the appropriate scope mount for this little fella right here, see? Put that on. This is a, man, this thing is light and it's really nice. Made of Light Optics in Japan. This is one of their most state-of-the-art scopes they have made thus far, bar none, according to them, you know, in the back channels is what I heard. So we'll see. I mean, it's very light. It's got all stainless steel. I think it's stainless, or it's got steel controls, steel control group. So this actually works very nice. I mean, and it's low profile with a cap, which is outstanding. Absolutely very cool, right? Same here. You have your illumination. You don't have a parallax adjustment knob on this. It's a set parallax. You don't need to worry about that. That's the nice part about that. It's just kind of set. You have diopter adjustment here. You have plenty of adjustment to get nice and crisp. Mine is pretty much all the way in to be adjusted. And it's a real nice scope optically. I'm still reviewing this. It takes me more than 5 minutes to do one because I actually use it for a while and learn about it. So we got some mounts. This is the Aero Precision. I use these a lot. Okay. Very lightweight, very streamlined. Like, it is streamlined. I like that part about them. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. It's the same tool, the same Torx head screws to take this off here and here. This is a little weird how they, it's a good design. It's a good design how they snap together here. But when you're trying to get everything level and when you tighten it, it'll kind of pull it off. So when you're trying to get your crosshairs level or your optic level in this mount, you gotta, when you start tightening these down, it'll grab it and kind of twist it in place. So it takes a little bit of experience or trial and error to get your scope level within these. It's a little tricky, but once it's set up, it's very low profile. I like them. I'm gonna look at this one, see which one we wanna do. So this is the primary arms, I think the maybe SLX, is that what this would be? It's a pretty affordable one-piece mount. So you have these like 1/2-inch bolts. I broke a few of these actually, just to tell you the truth, because I got too stupid with these. I like had too much leverage on a 1/2-inch wrench, because if you have a 1/2-inch wrench, guess what you're tempted to use to tighten this? You're tempted to use a 1/2-inch wrench. Well, you got all this leverage here, and instead of having, like, if you put, you know, if you understand the concept of torque, the longer the lever arm, it's way more torque than you think you're putting on. So I stripped them right off. Probably user error, you know, over the years. Done that a few times. This is the new PLx, the Platinum mount from Primary Arms. This is pretty new. Really good specs on this. Got a lot more grabbage here. The blocks, recoil lugs to get it mounted down. We got 3 screws. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic lug points that really keep it from moving around. And it's real good materials. And then I really like these, the American Defense throw lever mounts. This is not their super, super lightweight one, but I've got a bunch of these on a lot of different stuff. They got 4 screws here. It tightens this way. And then you push this button to undo the levers. And you can adjust it simply by pushing on this side here. See that? Push on that and then turn this, tighten it or loosen it to where that octagon, you know, is inside there. Sorry, that octagon is inside there. and then it will lock down towards, you don't want to like get stupid with it, but you should be able to lock it all the way in to where it locks, to where you have to hit this button so it'll, see that? Watch it lock. Right there, okay. These are nice. Now, with this particular setup, it's pretty streamlined. It's pretty streamlined, so this I was originally gonna use, okay? You're gonna use this, put it like over here, but like, and I've used these a lot. I know that the footprint is a little bigger, okay? I haven't even adjusted this one to this yet. I just took it out of the box, okay? Just go like this, okay? So somewhere in here, you'd have it mounted, but on the side, you're gonna have a little bit more snaggage, and this can get caught up on your clothes or on other things. Pretty commonly that happens. It's not terrible. It's a lot more low profile than other designs, but it is a thing that can happen. So you have to weigh out, like, it's really awesome to be able to just quickly unsnap this. Well, this one's a little tight here. So you put it like that, like this, and then that comes off, right? You get rid of your scope. So that's the advantage. However, you can keep tools on board on the rifle handy to be able to use something more low profile. So a lot of rifles where I run this, I'll usually just keep the tool with the rifle, like on the rifle, and then you have this low profile. If you've got a good optic, a real decent tough optic that's pretty stout, and you don't think that's gonna be an issue of having to take this off. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that would make you need to get an optic out of the way. You know, like all kinds of stuff that can happen. But you just kind of got to weigh what your 90% is, right, guys? Like, if you're doing a lot of movement or if you have a problem with snagging on stuff all the time, that it depends on what your pet peeves are, man. So, let's look at these. I'm curious to try this. I haven't used one of these before. I've got a lot of time on these. These work really nice. The American Defense Aero Precision works great. These work for the money. They're not what I would put on a go-to rifle. Just between you and me, right? Don't tell anybody. And then this, which the specs, the price point's kind of high. Like they're over $200 or maybe up, getting close to there. I forget how much they are. But this deal is the spec. Let me read them to you, see if I got it. Here's the American Defense. All right. So like, where are we? It's on the box right here, okay. You had 5 recoil lug points, including 2 machined integral lugs. So that's the 2 machined integral lugs right here. And then plus the 3 screws. Grade 12.9 hardware, capable of 6,500 pounds of clamping force. So this will not break. The hardware here is, with the materials they're using, very stout. It's machined from 70-75 aluminum alloy, light, strong, truss design. So there's kind of the truss design, see that? Kind of like an I-beam kind of deal, right? See that? Got the shape there. On this side. Likewise here, they lightened up the footprint. A little engineering went into that. Just a little bit, but very strong. Like, this is tough. So I'm curious, and it doesn't look like it's all that snaggy with this kind of hardware on there. It does look like the hex head bolts here are different than here. The hex head for the ring caps versus here, these are bigger. So let's see how this works. Okay, there we go. So that's good there. Now let's get her level. Here's the way you can, dang, that's close. That's really close, guys. Okay, so we're gonna put this deal in here so I don't drop it. I normally don't use this unless I'm trying to videotape, you know what I mean? Some guys use this as a shooting device. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's not what it's made for. And there's a lot of weird stuff that happens when you try to do that. That will maybe not be the best idea. Yep, that's still good there. Now, this just means that this rail, which may or may not be cut right, it should be on this good rifle, right, is the same level as this cap here. Okay, now if there's contour, you have to make sure that's actually level. But it doesn't mean that it's actually level with the crosshairs or the functioning of the control group, though. See, let me get this level again. See, now that I tightened it down a little bit, it's different. It is different. So it did move. If that twisted off. Nope, we're still good now. Sometimes it's like trial and error, right? You gotta like loosen it, tighten it again. If you're gonna cross pattern, it'll minimize some of that, but it'll still pull around a little bit. Kinda gotta just have patience. Some scope rings are actually designed to tighten the left or the right first, and then you do the other side. And then it pulls everything into place, but you gotta be cognizant of your equipment and its things. If you have tools to get it closer, that's good. What would actually be the correct way to do this for the use of a reticle is I don't need this. I would level the rifle with this right here. And then I'll look through here and look at the plumb bob out there that is gravity absolutely level. I'll level the reticle to the rifle and not off the cap here. But for starters, this will work fine, right guys? Okay, so I just want to make sure. I could probably put more torque on these rings, no problem. These rings are tough, but how much can the scope take? The scope looks like it's pretty nice too, but okay, so I got 15 on each one of those. I'm gonna go 18 total. So I'm gonna take this off and I'm just gonna go a tiny bit more. Verify, this is on here. Here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Loosen this up. These cost a little bit, I think, if I remember correctly, but for what I do, man, you gotta have it, right? You gotta have it. It just speeds stuff up. I can do this all visually using old school methods, but it's pretty nice to have something like that. It's pretty quick. Okay, cool. Rock and roll.